ask myself, like, how would a calendar look that I would actually, like, from my values, from what I believe in, how would that calendar look? And so that's why I created it. Total time is created in a circle, with a tiny circle in the middle, and then the days going off as fractals. So it's containing one lunar cycle. And the idea is to sit down at the new moon and put something in the center that feels important in that moment, and that you might want to focus on, that you want to remember, that is an intention, something you want to stretch into, or just something that inspires you in that moment and that you want to come back to over and over again. And then every day you take a moment, a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, whatever time you have and whatever you want to make it into. So it's open to be incorporated in your daily practice if you have one, or open it with a meditation, or move a little bit, or have a prompt, or do a little free flow writing, whatever it is you want to do. But you can also just sit down in front of it and put in whatever you like. And yeah, really, I feel the main thing for me was to actually be just exposed to this way of looking at time. So a lot of the time I feel that that's where the shift came from for me, was just like really having the visual and letting that really sink in of, yeah, looking at time in a circle, which then leads me to spirals and to just like a different way than linearity. And yeah, then put something in the fractal what that matters to you on that day, that maybe connects you back to the center, what you put in the center at the new moon. Can be a color, can be a little drawing, a word, whatever it is. There is not a lot of space, so you can expand it in your own way if you feel like it's somewhere else. But it's really just that reminder every day. And then, in my experience, when it fills up, it becomes a way to observe yourself and to witness yourself through the lunar month. And it's actually quite incredible, even the tiniest reminders and the fractals. If you, for example, I usually look back on the full moon on the first half of the cycle, and the information that is available through, not maybe even remembering the specifics of why I put that word or that color in that fractal on that day, but it creates an image. It gives me a way to step into the observer in me and really see what went on, and then also take that information and make it available for the second half of the cycle. So it's a mixture of stepping into action each day a little bit, like this tiny step, but also then being able to observe myself and witness myself, because I feel that's something that's often overlooked for me. Like, I keep going forward, I stretch myself, but then to actually allow myself to take that pause and look back, I feel that's so important for things to integrate and settle in. So yeah, it's both. It's courage in both ways, to actually stay committed in action every day, but then also pausing and looking back and witnessing. So for me, I feel what it did, which I didn't know at the time, but I could see then over the years I used it, is that it is this threshold, that it has enough of the elements, like the dates, for example, that are still anchored in what I'm used to or what I'm conditioned to believe time is. So it still has this anchor in what I'm used to, but it then kind of breaks that open through the cycle form, orienting towards the moon, so I'm tapping into another rhythm than this human design time. So it becomes that bridge. I feel it's not throwing me out of everything. It's kind of allowing me to be both, I think, and stretching myself that little bit every day. And so I feel what it did over time is making that a habit, and because it can be as big or as small as I want to. So sometimes it's just like actually looking at it and then also just being okay, like, okay, I don't know what to put into that fractal today, and just be at peace with that too. And then it can also just be the invitation to go free flow right for a few minutes and make it a little bit of a practice, but it doesn't have to be a set thing, but it's something I still show up for every day, and that is really aligned with, I guess, where I want to go and what matters to me in my life. So that's really, I think, the main thing that it did, like honoring that commitment. And it is hard, like being disciplined in that way is not something that, at least to me, comes easy, like doing the same thing over and over again, but because there is enough range for it to then flow in whatever way feels good in the day. It had enough flexibility while still offering a structure. And then over time, if I actually, I mean, with everything we stick to, that we want to commit to, then it writes that memory of, ooh, I did that, and so that builds trust